Hello everybody and welcome back to my channel. If this is your first time here, don't forget to click that subscribe button. Today I want to show you how I make these delicious stuffed garlic knots. They are amazing. Garlic knots are easy to love. These tender pillows of yeasted dough are doused with garlicky butter and herb. They are served anytime and they are filled with soft, gooey cheese, turning these babies from ordinary to extraordinary. You don't need me to tell you, there's the proof. If you want to learn how to make these, stay tuned and I will show you how. Let's start with our ingredients. 2.5 cups of all-purpose flour, 1 teaspoon of regular table salt, 1 tablespoon of instant yeast. I'm using the instant. 1 tablespoon of olive oil. And we're going to need 1 cup of warm water, which should be between 110 to 115 degrees. And here's all the list of your ingredients. We will also be needing some shredded mozzarella cheese. Now, let's get started. Here in my stand mixer, making sure that it is clean, I'm going to add my water, adding in the yeast, the oil, and the salt. Going to whisk this pretty good, making sure that it's all combined. Now the reason I'm using instant yeast is because this will make it much easier and faster to make. You can use the other type of yeast if you like, but I recommend this one if you are in a hurry. Now using my dough hook, I'm going to start adding in the flour. And I'm going to whip this up. Once it starts to come together, then I'm going to leave it for 3 minutes. And the way you can tell it's coming together is when it pulls away from the bowl. You should not need any extra water or any extra flour with this recipe. But if you do, go ahead and add it. And as you can see here, I left it there for 3 minutes. So I just let it knead for 3 minutes on the dough hook. Once that was done, I'm going to put flour down on my surface and I'm going to knead it for approximately 3 minutes. After 3 minutes, you should start to get a nice, soft, pliable dough. And this is going to go in my bowl. And I'm going to cover this, and it doesn't need to be covered for any more than 5 minutes. Because you're using instant yeast, it's going to double its size pretty quick. After 5 minutes, this is done. And what I'm going to do on a floured surface, I am going to cut this in half, and I'll be working with the first half first. Now what I'm going to do is shape this into a square. Now you don't want the dough too thick because then you're going to get really thick bread. And you really want to taste that cheese. You don't want to taste too much of the bread. So you do want to roll it out. Not too thin either, but not thick either. So you can see here how I'm rolling it out. It takes time, but you will get it. And now with my pizza cutter, I'm going to be cutting strips of this. Removing that last two tiny pieces, and now we're going to start working on our knots. So here I'm rolling it out just a little bit more to get it just a little bit more thicker. Not thicker, just a little bit more wider. And what I did with my shredded cheese, I'm just getting them into my palm and smashing it to make a little cheese ball, and placing it in the middle. And this is how I roll it to make the knot. Make sure that everything is closed up. Twisting it from the ends. You can also just roll the ends with your hands too. And because it's long, I'm going to cut it. Trim it a little bit, and then here comes the knot. This is why they are called garlic knots, right? Because it's a knot. And then what you want to do is get it from the back and then just press down on the dough, and there's your first one. And here I have my baking tray, and I'm going to spray it with some olive oil. And just make sure it's spread all around. I'm going to be placing my garlic knots on here. And I'm just going to continue with the rest. Now this one here, because it was long, I ended up just using it with the other piece. You can do that also. Whatever works for you, do it. This is just the way I make it. Once I was done making the knots, I'm grabbing one large egg and maybe about a tablespoon of milk. You can use water if you like. I'm going to mix this well, and I'm going to do the egg wash on top of these. Make sure that your oven is preheated. Should be preheated to 400 degrees. And these are going to go in the oven from 10 to 15 minutes. So once you start seeing the top that it has browned, it's ready to take out. In the oven they go. And once out the oven, as soon as they come out the oven, I've got some melted butter that I melted in the microwave, and I'm adding some garlic salt. You can add as much of this stuff as you want. This is pretty good for me. This was 2 tablespoons of butter. I ended up making 2 trays of these, and this 2 tablespoons was actually enough. So for this one, I'm actually adding the butter and the garlic and the herb right when I take it out of the oven. For my next batch, what I did was, before I placed it in the oven, I added the garlic, the butter, and the herb. And it really was no difference, but I did happen to like the one where I added it first before I put it in the oven. But it's your choice, and you will see after a little bit, after the other ones are done, you will see the difference between both of them. And I'm going to add some Parmesan cheese on top, and these are done. And I served these up with some homemade marinara sauce, and I will have that recipe down in the description or here on top, or you could go look for it. Oh, look at that cheese, ooey gooey. And here's the taste test. These are so delicious. This is perfect for any day. Game day would be perfect. Everybody will love it. I hope you liked my recipe. Don't forget to click that like button, subscribe, share my video, and leave a nice comment. Now, as you can see, the one on the right is the one where I added it before I put it in the oven. The one on the left is I did it after. So either way, it works. Thank you all for watching my video. We'll see you next time. Bye.